Okay, I'd like to call the reorganization meeting of July 6th to order. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag, States of America, to the republic that stands. Okay, the first order of business is to swear in our newly elected board members, both Janine Bieber and Rosemary Earl. So I'll start in alphabetical order. Janine, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of board member for the Lake George Central School District according to the best of your ability?
I will.
And there you go. Oh, here's a pen.
Thank you. Oh, wait, I did my date wrong. That's pretty bad.
The 6th.
Turn that to a 0.
Thank you. Now, Rosemary Earl, do you solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of office of board member of the Lake George Central School District according to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, the next order of business is to request nominations for president of the Lake George Central School District Board of Education for the term of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Once we have nominations, the nominations will then be closed, and then the board will vote on if we have more than one nomination. The board will then vote in the order of nomination. If the first nomination receives a majority vote, then the second nomination is dead on the floor. So with that being said, may I have some nominations for president?
I nominate Katie Bruning for president.
I'll second.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, may I have a motion to close the nomination for board president for July 1st, 2023 through
So
June 30th?
moved.
Okay. So the next order of business is do we all, sorry, I
So
screwed that
motion,
one
I'll make a
up.
motion to
We
elect
have a
Katie
motion-
Bruning as
we have a
president.
Motion to close the nominations. Do I have all those in favor?
I accept, so I guess I'll vote.
Any nays? Okay, so the next order of business is to have a motion and a second to appoint the president of Katie Bruning to the term of July 1 through June 30th of 2024.
I'll second.
Rosemary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Katie, do you solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of president of the Board of Education for the Lake George Central School District according to the best of your abilities? Okay, at this point, I will turn the remainder of the meeting over to Board President Katie Bruning.
Thank you for your vote of confidence and your support all last year as I learned the role and am still learning the role. And thank you for your future support. And Janine and Rosemarie, thank you for committing to another term of being on the board. It's been a pleasure the past 3 years, and I'm looking forward to the future years. So thank you so much. Okay, the next order of business is a request for nominations for the position of Vice President for July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. Do you have a nomination for Vice President?
I'll nominate Marion McKenzie for Vice President.
Do we don't vote on it, right?
The second.
Do we need, we do, okay. Yes,
We need a second.
so we need a second.
I second.
Okay. And
I'll make a motion to close the nominations for vice president.
Second.
okay. And then we need a motion to be it resolved that the Board of Education of Lake George Central School District hereby appoints Mary Ann McKenzie as the Board Vice President effective July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any questions, discussions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you, Mary Ann, for your service for many years as Vice President, and we look forward to another year.
Tis a pleasure.
Thank
you.
Mary
Mary Ann. Mary Ann, I just need to do your oath. Mary Ann McKenzie, do you solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of office of Vice President of the Lake George Central School District Board of Education according to the best of your abilities?
Yes.
Yay, Board of Ed.
Set. Okay. The next item up on the agenda is the reorganization consent agenda.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Lake George Central School District hereby approves the reorganizational meeting consent agenda A through PP as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any questions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. The next item, let me make sure I got this right, is the motion to approve board committees.
As recommended by the superintendent, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Lake George Central School District hereby approves the committee appointments as follows.
So moved.
Do we have any questions? Any discussion?
I just want to make a comment. Thank you for continued service on committees and the consistency there to the board, and also for the dedication to outlining the charge and the clarity of the committees. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Trish. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. The next item is the adjournment of the reorganization meeting, but stay in your seats because we have another one coming up. Did I read this one? Yeah, be it resolved that the Board of Education of Lake George Central School District hereby adjourns the July 6th, 2023 reorganization meeting.
So moved.
Any questions, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Now for our regular board meeting, which we're going to start right now. We have everybody here except Donna. She's on vacation, and we've done the Pledge of Allegiance, so we can roll right into this one. And the first item on the agenda for our regular board meeting today is the district-wide safety plan.
Thanks, Katie. The district-wide safety plan is it's required annual updates and review per New York State educational law. So we are required to post that on our website, which it is always there, but it is posted there. It'll be on the website for the next 30 days for a public comment period. There's one major addition to it, which is an emergency remote instruction plan that was required by law this year. That was really the only addition. There were some minor tweaks. We always have to update different personnel in the document, as things shift each year, but that was the only major piece. And we worked, the administrative team worked on that all year. And it's really just to outline in the event of a pandemic or some situation where we would need to close school for an extended period of time, how would we implement remote instruction? So it just outlines, it's pretty specific. We had to have specific criteria included in that. So that is on our website. We will have a public hearing as required in August. And comments or suggestions can be emailed to Mr. Kokoza, who's the facilitator of the District Health, Wellness, and Nutrition Advisory Committee.
Thank you, John. The next item on the agenda is the Code of Conduct.
So the Lake George Code of Conduct also requires an annual review. So Bonnie Hart worked with the stakeholder committee. There was no requested suggestions or additions. However, there was a couple minor tweaks to that. One of which was just a simple rearrangement of a sentence to make it flow better. And then the other addition was a reference to 3 other already existing policies pertaining to harassment, bullying, and discrimination. So policy, it was already outlined in there, but we added 3 other policies to provide people reference of where they could go to if they were in need of looking at those policies. Those policies are 3420, non-discrimination and anti-harassment, 3421, which is reference to Title IX, and then 7551, which is sexual harassment of students. So other than that, the Code of Conduct remained as is. So again, that is also on the website. We'll have to have a public hearing because of those additions in August, and then the board can re-adopt that as well in August.
Thank you, John.
John, I know
Yes.
part of that was a deep dive and a relook at the dress code. And have you had any pushback on that you know of, or maybe we can get a report?
I
later?
don't,
That's
I can get a
that's fine.
report. I don't
Yeah.
believe there was,
Yeah.
but I can get a report certainly
Yeah.
to the board.
Great.
So one little correction, John, it was sexual harassment in the workplace,
Oh.
not of students, just, it was the adult
Thanks.
employee rights and responsibilities was where the revision was.
Okay, thank you for the
Yep.
clarification.
Anybody else? The next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
So just a quick report here as we've closed out the year. I joked that, well, we closed one with graduation and we started right away on the next one by going off to a conference on educational technology. And it was a great conference. We learned a lot. Certainly well worth our time to go down there. We left on Sunday and came back on Tuesday. So a lot of great information. And it's always one of those things you come back and you're full of information and you need some time to kind of decompress and then revisit all the notes we took. So we'll be looking forward to that this summer. It's busy. Summer activities are going on very quickly. We had our first books and beaches yesterday. So Bridget Crossman and some of the teachers, Sarah Olson, are bringing students to local beaches in our area as the elementary school is closed down for the HVAC project. So yesterday, perfect weather. That seems like finally, because we've had so much rain, but they had a great time. So we'll have some pictures out there and they are really excited about that for the rest of the summer. We also have youth commission going on in this building. I ran into Kathy, and they had 118 students on the mini haha yesterday. So again, we have a lot of kids here, a lot of different fun activities going on. So the buildings are busy. And just a reminder, everything will be out of this building. We have Jumpstart, STEM Camp, everything will be going on later in August. We'll be out of this building due to the updates on the HVAC. Speaking of that, Bonnie and I attended a meeting yesterday. We're making great progress made at the elementary school. If you've driven by there, you probably on Monday may have noticed a crane up there. So they were taking off all the air conditioning condensers. I've got some pictures I'll share with the board. They're all down. New ones are being installed. They are working systematically through each cluster, starting with kindergarten. So what they're doing is abatement has to occur first. So it's tented off, secured, sealed. They're removing the univent. They have to wait for air sampling to come back clear. And then, so they're kind of going in a staggered way around the building. Once the air sampling comes in clear, then the BPI is one of our contractors. They come in and install the univents right behind them. So it's very systematically done, starting with kindergarten, because we're hopefully by the middle of August, that we can start to get some of our younger our younger classes in there for our teachers to get access to, as they need some additional time to get ready for the start of school year. But everything is on track. It's some additional work. There is a new transformer going in the basement, new electrical panning, new wiring, but we are on track and on schedule to have all the univents installed and air conditioning working by Labor Day. So we are very much doing well with that. We did launch our new website, if you had a chance to check it out. So we've been working on that all year as a collaborative team in conjunction with our communication services through Capital Region BOCES. It has been launched. We're working through, the weeds, trying to, tweak some things or some things that need to be addressed. Minor things, little pictures and things need to be addressed, but it's a much more functional website. Our old one used a very, very outdated program called Blackboard. Actually, Blackboard is going away, so we had to do something anyways. They're no longer hosting websites. So we're excited about it. It's going to be a work in progress, but it's much cleaner. It's brighter. It has, we're hoping it's more organized for people. So we're going to take some feedback. We'll look to do some things, push some information out, and have sort of a soft launch right now while we kind of work out some of those kinks, which is a good time of year to do it as we're starting the summer. But hopefully by August 1st, we'll be ready to roll and kind of do more of a big launch through Parent Square. Hey, check out our new website. If you have any feedback, please let us know. But we're really excited about it. We also, just a couple last updates here. We have quite a bit of summer professional development and curriculum development going on. So just some of the examples, our teachers are, as you know, even though it's summer, our teachers are always working and getting ready for new programming, new courses, new content. So just an example here of some of the pieces of summer curriculum work that's been approved for this summer. We have work going on in world language. They have new standards. Our business department, our technology department, a new VEX robotics course. Our science department has got some really great ideas of working to offer next year a science activity for our sixth graders to come over here and do some experiments with our high school students. So we're really excited about that one. There's also some of you may know this, but the solar eclipse is next year. So we've been meeting with the science department. They would like to do something for that. It's going to be a fairly big deal in our community. So they're working on a plan for that. Our special education has a new social skills curriculum they're working on. Computer science and digital fluency standards are a work in progress as well. And then at the elementary, we have our K2 phonics work. So there's 2 days specific to this. We have all of our K2 teachers in, along with our interventionists. They are all reading the Shifting the Balance, 6 ways to bring the science of reading to the balanced literacy classroom. So it's a book study, but also embedded in that is a significant amount of professional development. It's a great resource. So we have 2 days dedicated to that, so we can make some shifts to start for September with some best practices in regards to phonics. Also, as the board knows, we have a new math series. So there's 3 days dedicated to that with some follow-up in the fall in our October Superintendent's Day. So we have a representative from Eureka Math coming in to do training on day 1, and then there'll be team training for the rest of the 2 days led by Megan and Jim as well, and Ashley. So we've got a lot of great work going on this summer, and that's just a drop in the bucket. There's additional curriculum work associated with other courses as well. So we're really excited about it. It's going to be a busy summer, and we'll be ready to go for September. Just a last update on our nickname and mascot. So we have closed the survey for community suggestions. That closed on June 28th. We had over 270 community suggestions. Many of them were duplicates or ones of similar nature. Today, we have, right after our board meeting today, we have our student advisory committee meeting. So we have shared those results with the students last week, right after it closed. So they've had some time to review it. We're coming together to really look at the guiding principles, look at the community suggestions, and then work towards the final survey. So we're thinking at least 3 or 4 will go out for a final survey, probably sometime early to mid next week. It'll be for at least 30 days into mid-August. One of the choices will be Lakers, as we talked about. They've sort of, because of the support they received in our initial survey, they've kind of had the bye round, so they go on to the finals. And then they'll determine today, based on those principles, the other few that will be part of the survey. We plan to utilize the timing of our summer district newsletter to have the survey link on there. So it's going to go to all community members and all families. Everyone will have an opportunity to vote. We'll also push it out, obviously, through our website, our press releases. I've already had a couple media outlets just yesterday reach out and say, hey, where are you at with this? So I said, you'll get a press release in the next few days. So hopefully we'll get some good traction, and the survey will get some good volume of support. Again, we're still on track to have our new nickname in place by September 1st, and then we'll discuss more about that plan for sort of that rebranding plan in the fall. So we're excited about that. We'll see more. There'll be more of an update after today with our student advisors. We're looking forward to that. And then finally, I just want to welcome Bonnie. Bonnie is here. Bonnie Hart is officially, it's her first day. Well, not her first day, but first board meeting. So Bonnie is settling into her role, and we're really excited to have her, and we couldn't be more excited for this opportunity for Bonnie. Does the board have any questions?
The website I thought looks great. Any initial feedback from parents or students or anything like that?
No, we haven't received any. I think, again, some may not even know it's happened yet. We did, so it had to change over by July 1st. Otherwise, we would have been hooked on a bill for the other program. So the feedback we've gotten internally is they love that the picture's front and center. It's much easier on the back end to change. It's clean. The calendar is totally different. I'm looking at it. It's going to be, it's a live calendar. So it's got the updates of everything going on in the district front and center. So I think the feedback is, we're looking, over the course of the next several weeks as we send it out to parents. Hey, the website's live. Please check it out. Please provide feedback. We'll probably put a little Google form in there to get feedback. But so far, so good. I think everyone has liked it. It's really clean. It's bright. It's got our colors. It's got our our logo. But there will be things. There's always things when you do a massive website transition or anything with technology. There's always going to be little glitches. So that's one thing. I had a big meeting with communications yesterday for about 2 hours. We went through almost every single link. We had to pause. So we found little things here or there, a couple misspellings that need to be addressed. But that's why we're doing this process. And then we'll do a planned big rollout more publicly. So, but so far so good.
And then my other question was with it being summer, how many of those students on the advisory board for the mascot are you? Because there was originally 10, right?
Yes, we had 9 committed. Yeah, pretty much every session, at least 9.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're still getting a fair amount of the students in.
Yes, we have we're only aware of one student right now who had a work commitment, but they had already connected with members of the students outside of, through email or texting or whatever. And they had already kind of shared their thoughts, and then they're planning to be certainly at the August meeting. We've also opened it up through Google Meet to some of our seniors who are graduated. So we're hoping that we have one.
Got it. Thank you.
I just want to thank you, John, for letting us know about all the professional development, all the curriculum work being done, because I think sometimes people think it's really sleepy during the summer. A lot happens during the summer, and there's a lot of committed professional development and work that goes on. So thank you. And the other piece is I'm excited about the ventilation in the elementary school, not only for air quality, but sound quality. I sat in a classroom one time, and when we're sitting next to those old vents, it was hard to hear, and the teachers probably had to really work hard to get their voice over to those kids. So I'm excited about the quality of that. 'Cause
Yeah.
buildings and grounds are important, in
They are.
terms of
I
the
think it will-
functionality.
it's going to change the dynamic in those classrooms
Yeah.
because it is challenging. As we've learned in the 9 that were installed here, when you walk in, you don't even know they're on now.
Right.
Based on these ones that are 30, 20, 30, 40 years old in some cases, they're quite noisy.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the Policy Committee update with Mary Ann McKenzie, who is chair of that committee.
Okay. There's a lot of different things on the list for the policy report today. I'll just start with, first of all, we have 7 policies moving to second read, which I think we discussed each of those at the last board meeting. There are 3 policies moving to first read. The first 2 listed there, 7250 and 7340, had just some minor wordsmithing adjustments, revisions. And the third one listed, 5661, is the wellness policy. And in this policy, if you recall, in May, we talked about adding sun safety language somewhere in our policy manual. The district, at the district level, some language was drafted and then was reviewed collaboratively by the policy committee and readied for the policy manual, and it was determined to fit nicely inside the wellness policy. So hopefully you noticed that that was there, and that's why that's up for first read today. We had some policies that we reviewed that had no recommended changes. There are 2 of them listed here. 7314, students presumed to have a disability for discipline purposes, and 7421, participation in athletic camps or programs. In addition, if you look at the top of the list under policies that require annual review, both investments and purchasing, those were also reviewed first in the Audit and Finance Committee and then to policy. There were no recommended changes. So there are 4 policies present today that have no recommended changes. Also, under policies that require annual review, the third one listed there is 8260, which is Title I Parent and Family Engagement. That's an annual review policy, and there was just some minor wordsmith. I think maybe one sentence had a language adjustment there that was not substantive. And then if you go to the bottom of our list of policies, there are 4 policies listed that are being recommended to retire. And the first one is the school census code. And that policy, and by the way, the other policies that are listed for any policy that wasn't singled out, like sun safety or annual review, the other 2 policies under first read, they came before the committee just by our routine manual review. And that's the same, that goes for the school census code under retiring policies. That's 7140. And with our superintendent guidance, we determined that policy actually largely does not really apply to us. We're not obligated to take a school census that is by law required of the big 5 school districts. And the other components, there was one component of the school census policy that we are obligated to, and that part has to deal with reporting the number of immigrant children enrolled annually. And that piece is performed annually through the BEDS process, but not felt to be requiring a policy to underline that. So we're recommending that be retired. The next 4 policies under retiring, recommended to be retired, all are the duties and responsibilities policies: the school business official, secondary school principal, vice principal, and elementary school principal. And you may or may not remember that earlier this year, we talked about once the job description manual that the superintendent and the administrators compiled, once that was completed, that the contents of these policies would be relocated to the job descriptions manual, and that was on our reorganization agenda, a reorganization meeting agenda. The job description manual, we just approved that. Therefore, we're recommending that we retire these 4 policies because that content is located elsewhere at this point. And that's it. Are there any questions about all that?
No, I just want to say I appreciate that cleanup of the policy manual and the creation of the job descriptions. It just feels good and clean. And I know there's a lot of hard work that went into that. So thank you.
It does feel good. And not only that, but well, like in that job description manual, you know, there's a place for archived job descriptions versus current. And yeah, so it's really great. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. The next item is we're going to move on to the school business portion of the meeting, and it's the school business consent agenda.
As recommended by the superintendent, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Lake George Central School District hereby approves the school business consent agenda items A through E. In summary, item A is a motion to approve the minutes from the June 13th regular board meeting. Item B is an annual resolution regarding in the event we have an emergency due to insect damage and they cannot be resolved through the use of green products. So this is just a resolution in regards to if there's an emergency situation that exists, we are able to manage them, manage eradication of stinging and biting insects as presented. Item C is a motion to pertain to the readings of the policy per Marianne's report. Item D is a motion to accept the proposal submitted by Aluminum Athletic Equipment. This is the bid for the press box for our athletic fields and the cost of $33,850 and authorizes the business official to issue a purchase order on behalf of the district. Item E is a motion to amend the 2022-23 budget to increase appropriations for interscholastic athletics and estimated revenues for donation in the amount of $8,850 to incorporate donations from the Booster Club. So the Booster Club did some donations to offset the cost of the press box.
Moved.
Second.
Do we have any questions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. Next item, next section is faculty staff appointments. And so we have the faculty staff consent agenda.
As recommended by the superintendent, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Lake George Central School District hereby approves the faculty staff appointment consent agenda items A through F. In summary, item A is a motion to accept the termination of Matt Petty's. Item B is a motion to amend the resolution of Katie Gibbons. This includes, the board approved this appointment in June. This is an amendment due to addition of graduation credits. Item C is a motion to approve the appointment of Ronnie Guyette to the position of summer painter effective June 28th through September 1st, 2023 at a salary of $17.50 per hour. Item D is a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Lake George Central School District and the Lake George Education Association regarding the health insurance opt-out incentive, clarifying that incentive. Item E is a motion to approve the amended 2023-24 coaches list and the volunteer coaches list. Item F is a motion to approve the amended 2023-24 extracurricular and co-curricular list and the curriculum list.
Do we have a motion? Do you have any questions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is Board of Education member comments. Anybody have anything today?
I'll just bring up something quickly. I have a group of people in the neighborhood where I live that we've been kind of keeping track of building projects, et cetera, in Lake George, because right now about 80% of the development projects are happening within, I don't know, about a mile radius, like up Bloody Pond, down Sun Valley, et cetera. And I just thought it was interesting to note that none of those projects are geared toward year-round. It's something that's been it's been concerning for community members, and I just want to let people know that that is something that members of the Lake George community are thinking of and being concerned about and trying to get more involved with being present at the, with the town planning board meetings, et cetera. In fact, last night, I believe there was a meeting to look into increasing the number of apartment buildings across the street from the elementary school. They want to add 2 more buildings, one across the street and one an additional building with the original 5. So that would increase, what are we talking? 50, something like it would increase it to like about 50, 51 units. Anyway, so that was supposed to be there was supposed to be a special meeting about that last night. I'm not sure what the outcome of that was. So I just thought it was, interesting for us to be thinking about, again, as we look at declining enrollment, et cetera, those relationships and kind of, I don't know, keeping track of what's going on with zoning, planning, et cetera. So that,
Yeah.
that's it.
Janine, yeah, and I think that it's a shame not to build more houses for families to come in here to take advantage of our wonderful school district. So that's great that you're paying attention to that. Thanks for bringing it to the table.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is public comment. We have any? Looks like we got a pretty quiet meeting. If anybody is listening remotely, they can send an email to boe@lkgeorge.org, and we will see that email after the meeting. And that email goes to the board and to the superintendent. So the next item is a proposed executive session. And that is, I'll read that, as recommended by the recommended by the superintendent, be it resolved that the Board of Education of Lake George Central School District proposes entering into an executive session to discuss pending litigation and the reason of discussions regarding the history of a particular person. We do not anticipate coming back out into open session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. So thank you.